There we go. It is 10:55. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Thank you for coming and to our annual visioning meeting. We'll start with an opening prayer from Pastor Blair.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessing and presence upon this meeting as we look to the future, both this year and beyond, to discern what your vision for this church and for us might be. Be with each of us as we contemplate this past year and this year to come. Make your presence known. Amen.
Okay, now we're going to just hear from Pastor Blair about Pastor's report, so I'll hand it over to Blair.
Well, the report's in the handout. I do not have a lot more to add. This year's been an interesting one as we sought to come out of COVID, but not being yet out of COVID. So I've sought to try to open up visitation again, but still am somewhat limited. And I have fears that even though we are coming back to worship again at Bethesda, that I'm a little bit concerned how long that's going to last, because there seems to be a spike. We still do have members who are not comfortable about coming back yet because of COVID. And this is, I know some members have recently become concerned and will come back when things are a little bit more safe. We've sought to expand our reach and continue to do so, and more will be spoken to that about how. I do want to commend and to hold up the leadership of William in the online ministry, who has worked in concert with Kinsey, who we miss already, in expanding our social presence on social media. I also want to thank all those who have worked with William in making sure that our services online continue. I am looking forward to this next year, as far as this coming year, for a few reasons. First of all, to try to expand my presence on as far as in a teaching way, in a teaching manner, to provide more opportunities for growth in our understanding of the Bible and in the church and in our mission through book studies and Bible studies. I will try to do that, as well as seek to finish up my Doctor of Ministry. My classes are practically over. There's a few project seminars I need to do, but most of my concentration will be working on getting my project, or in some venues called the dissertation, done. So if at times I may be distracted, it may be that I might be in my head about my paper, so you might have to say, Blair, concentrate. I hope to keep that apart from my hours here at the church and to get that completed this year. With that, I'll turn it over to the Pastoral Relations Committee.
Good morning. So we started out the year, we still had the open and affirming process on the table, which due to COVID in the beginning, we were shut down and we wanted to wait till were able to do listening groups again to be able to kind of further that process. Finally, we were able to hold a listening group. Wasn't till this summer though, and we're still kind of working on the process, whether it's a process that we want to truly go through. I guess we kind of led our focus just to being more welcoming in our church, and that had led us to a discussion about walking in other people's shoes. And so this fall we had kind of ventured into that aspect, and we did some different we had some different worship things where we honored people and tried to see how it would be like to walk in their shoes. And I thought that was really well received. We honored teachers and emergency workers and that kind of thing. So we donated some shoes, and that was kind of our focus. So I guess with Kenzie leaving too, now we're kind of back into we're going to be hiring for her position, posting that, and we want to keep the momentum going as far as our children's program and see where that takes us, and striving just to get more out in the community and see ways we can help. So if anybody has ideas about different ways that we can make an impact, I think people are more than willing to step up and do that. We just, need to find the ideas and what the need is. And we're continuing to work with the pastor as far as relationships with the congregation. And so if anybody ever has anything they need to share with us or ways that we can improve our ministry, we're kind of the go-between between the visioning committee and the pastor and the congregation. So any of us are available to talk at any time. And then just wanted to do our volunteer appreciation now, I think. Is it okay to do that? Without all the people behind the scenes that do so much, this church would not function. And I know this list that we do every year is just, doesn't even touch the surface of what people do around the church, but we just want to put it out there and just really thank everybody for their help throughout the year and just recognize them. So our first one is Mark and Aaron Guchar. If you want to come up here, I got a certificate for you. They provide meals for the church through VBS, painting, the church buildings, lot cleaning, women's fellowship duties, and just so much more. We can't even begin to list all the ways. Donna Masters, we want to recognize her for dealing with all the nuts at the church. She handles all the nuts for our bazaar, and she does a really good job, and she gets them all sold, and we really appreciate the income we get from that. Next, Rhonda Masters. Rhonda has been involved with our Christian Education Committee for years and years, helping with VBS and all the committees she's been on. She's just always there supporting us in everything we do. William Ottenbacher. William has stepped up a lot this last year. He has done a lot of legwork, background work, and has brought presentations to the visioning committee, and he does a lot of follow-up with our Facebook page, making sure that works fine and runs smoothly, and he's just done a lot of coordinating with the people that installed the system, and we just really, really appreciate all your hard work, William. Then we have Glenn Harris, Rich Wilson, and Russ Oshner. They're kind of our second-hand mans. They do a lot of hard work behind the scenes with our video and our sound system, Facebook, just making sure all of that runs smoothly also. So. Ed Bazanko, he has done a lot of extra work this year on the finances and the endowment fund of the church. He's researched getting insurance quotes to get us a way better rate. He's just done a lot of background work and behind the scenes work just to make sure that our doors can stay open. So they're in Palm Springs, but and then I don't know if they're here. Emma and Christian, are they here? No? Well, Emma Guchar and Christian Guchar, they have been displaying their musical talents on the piano, and we just really appreciate all their work that they've done for that. So I'll give these to their dad. And Casey Tobin, she has helped with the children's time and subbing for Missy on the piano. She's helped us with Vacation Bible School, and just has been very supportive. So she's not here today either, but thank you. So if we could give everybody just a final round of applause, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, and thanks to everybody involved with this, making our worship service go smoothly and, have it online and have the people that can't be with us to enjoy our service at their house. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Sheila for a spiritual life report.
I think I'm going to invite William to come up right away, though, and he has a report he'd like to make on behalf of the, media, whatever. The next generation opportunities for our church.
Good morning, everyone. My name is William Ottenbacher, and I am responsible for the social media and live streaming for Plymouth Church. I would like to update everyone on our live streaming and our plans for social media. Every Sunday, we live stream our church service and try to spread our message online. I would like to let everyone know that the glitches and freezing of the live video is not on our end. We know your frustration, and there isn't much we can do about it at this time. Our internet is very adequate for our live streaming needs, and the volunteers know how to start the live stream. Facebook just isn't capable of receiving the amount of high-quality video that we put out. This causes the cache to fill up, which in turn causes the live stream to buffer. Please know that all of the volunteers and I put in a lot of effort behind the scenes, and that we are as frustrated as you are when things start freezing. Our goal is to eventually start live streaming on YouTube and Instagram, which are much more diverse and capable places to live stream. There are a few issues that we need to address before going live on these platforms, which will take some time, so please bear with us. We also have plans to expand what we know or what we do on social media. In addition to opening a YouTube and Instagram account, we will also try to post and interact more on our social media sites. Our hopes are to send out announcements or upcoming events through posts. For more interaction with our followers online, we hope to post inspiring quotes, thought-provoking questions, and pictures of things we are doing at the church. We also hope to interact more with the people that are watching our services online in the comments. I have enjoyed learning about this online process, and I hope to continue expanding our outreach and improving the quality of our live stream. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask Pastor Blair or myself. I would love to hear your input so we can make our online presence an authentic representation of our church and members.
In this past year, we've spent a lot of time emphasizing the social media and the live streaming portion of our church's ministry, partly due to COVID issues, but partly because that's just the direction that we really have started to see that we need to start going. And so there's been just a lot of effort and energy put into that. And there have been a few concerns raised about some of those kinds of issues, like why are we not singing anything out of Sing, Prayer, and Praise? Part of that is because of some copyright issues that we're trying to figure out how we can get the proper license to be able to use the music that's in that book, because we enjoy it too. But if we use something that we don't have copyright permission for in our live streaming, they will either shut us down completely, after we've had enough violations, which we really hope we don't, but they will also mute us in our live streaming. And there have been 2 incidents of us being muted on Facebook because of copyright issues. One was during a funeral service, and one was during Martin Luther King Sunday. The video that was shared was muted because of copyright issues. So we have to really be careful about those kinds of things, because we don't want it to financially impact our church in a way that we do not have ourselves prepared for. So we're being a little hesitant and a little cautious, maybe more than some other churches, but just because we want to protect ourselves and provide the best opportunities for people to worship online, both those who are members of our church currently, but also those who are potential members. We want them to have the best experience possible. So that's why we're looking at going with some new platforms once we get all that squared away. Also, like William said, we're going to hope to put some intentional, maybe just thought-provoking things out there on our Facebook, and if we get some of the other platforms going, just things to ponder, and maybe lifting up some of the themes that Blair is going to start using as he goes forward with his worship services, to kind of help people think about those and ponder those in advance, so they come with maybe questions in their hearts that hopefully Blair will address, or maybe he'll have the same concerns, but also for us to kind of connect in a much broader way than just in Sunday mornings or whenever you end up watching the live stream, because that is available anytime. If you're not able to be in worship and you want to see what happened in worship, just go to Plymouth's Facebook page, or you can actually go to Plymouth's website, and there's a link there that takes you directly to the video. You don't even have to have a Facebook account in order to watch our worship services. If you do have a Facebook account, you just look for Plymouth UCC, and all the videos are there. So please kind of check in on those once in a while. Even if you're in church every Sunday, it's kind of fun just to go and look at it and see how things appear on that platform, because we're trying to figure out what works for us here when we're worshiping together, but also how the presence comes across to folks who are visiting us online. And so it's raised a few things for us that we never thought of before, like up here in the choir loft. We have to make sure there's not a bunch of stuff sitting on the pews up there, because you can see it on the live stream and it just kind of makes it look cluttered. Or the candles and the flowers up front. We moved them slightly. You may not have noticed it, but we had to move them so you could see Missy, even though she said, "That's okay. You don't need to do that." we did it anyway. And just a few of those kinds of things. When you make announcements in church, it's really crucial if you get a microphone or come forward so that everybody here can hear you, but also for people on the live stream to be able to hear you and see you. It really strengthens that connection when we can hear each other and see each other in those kinds of ways. Other things that we're working on kind of as the spiritual aspect of Plymouth's outreach, on the north side of the church, we had a banner for a long period of time, which has been taken down. We're in the process of creating a new one. We had a draft brought to the visiting team, and we kind of decided, no, that's not quite what we want. And so we're working with Service Signs to come up with a new design for that, and then they will give us an estimate of the cost, and will install it for us once we have approved design. So kind of watching for that. Eventually we'll have a new presence on this corner over here. With Kenzie leaving us, we have a huge gap in what we are going to be doing with our ministry, and so it's already been advertised, I think, that we're looking for somebody to replace Kenzie, but that may take some time. It's going to be in tomorrow. Okay. So it'll go out for the public to know that we need people to apply, but it took a while for us to find Kenzie, and so it may take a while to find somebody else to take over that ministry. So in the meantime, it is really important for us as a church to not let the momentum of that program die. So pray about this, think about this. Are you willing to help us in any way with that program? Maybe volunteer to do a G to G on a Wednesday afternoon, or would you be willing to do a children's sermon on a Sunday so that we can continue all of that? And any other ideas you might have of things we can do to reach out to the children that Kenzie had really gotten connected to our church. We looked for a volunteer driver for our G2G program to pick up the kids and take them home, and we got one lined up. Everything was a go, and then Kenzie left. So now we've got a driver, we've got kids, we just need people to help with the program. And we don't have to do it as often as Kenzie did, maybe a couple times a month or something, but we certainly need to try and keep up with that. And I just ask if anybody has got an interest in that in any way, shape, or form. The visiting team will support you to our fullest extent, and I know people's time is precious, but if we can figure out a way to make that happen, come and talk with one of us or talk with Blair so we can keep that going, because it really was exciting to see what was happening with that, and we want to keep that going. Also this past year we did a couple of prayer services where we prayed for rain one time, and we just about flooded the country, and we did prayer for educators, which I think worked for a short period of time, but then COVID got a little bit more powerful, and influenza got a little bit more powerful, so we might have to revisit doing that again, praying for the health, especially of those in our education system. But maybe we'll do more of those this year, but we need ideas and suggestions from people of things that they would like us to have those intentional moments of prayer, and then we share those on our live stream. Then the last thing is, with some of the newness of the live streaming and what it brings to us, I think we'll probably try and get together and have a training session for our liturgists, just so that everybody is kind of aware of different things that we might need to share and say, to invite those in from the live streaming, so that everybody's kind of on the same page, prepared for that, knows what's going on. And then I know William is going to plan on having a training session for those who run the video system. Because now that we've added the second camera, which I don't know if everybody knows, right up here in front, and does it light up green when it's on the congregation, William? You got the congregation on now? No? Okay. If it's pointed at you, you might be on. Just be aware. But the second camera helps really well with soloists up front here, and the piano, and a different angle of Blair, and a much better angle of Missy at the organ, and anything happening up here in the front. So that's really been helpful. And then it also gives us a good image of banners up here, and a capability of showing Jesus at the back, which we couldn't do before because the camera is right beside Jesus and it can't see him. So those are just kinds of things that we need to help people see and be aware of. So William will kind of get together a training guide and do that eventually here. So if anybody's interested in learning about the video system, to just be a backup or an emergency person, that would be great too. All right, is there anything else that we talked about? Okay. William and I had a meeting with Blair the other night, and we talked about all kinds of things. So I hope that as the year goes forward, we can kind of enhance our connection with each other. And I may surprise you with some ministry opportunities that I'll invite you to be a part of. And I ask that if you get invited to be a part of something, even if it seems silly and ridiculous, there's a purpose to it. And so please just jump in and do it with a happy, joyful heart in anticipation of what it might bring. Because there are some kind of silly things that have been kind of popping into the back of my head. I think God's kind of saying, hey, let's just have some fun. And so I might be reaching out to you to invite you to do some of those kinds of things, just to connect in new ways, different ways, old ways that we've forgotten how to do, like maybe pen and paper, writing a letter to somebody. It might happen. But just those kind of things. And if you have any ideas or things you'd like to see the church do, let us know. You know, maybe God's trying to speak through one of you, and we can't hear it until you tell us. So please bring that forward, because that's the only way that we can really make some ministry happen in new and vibrant ways. Because God will be speaking through each one of us. We just have to be willing to take that voice forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. In addition to what she said, if there's any issues that anybody has that they don't want to bring up at this meeting, just please let one of the visioning team, myself, Pastor Blair, anybody of the vision team know that something that you need to have addressed, and we will definitely take it up for advisement in the visioning team meeting. So, are there any other additions to the agenda? Anybody want to come forward and talk about anything? Okay, Glenn's coming up.
Good morning. I'm going to make this short and simple. Okay, I know some things have been going in my mind and my heart and my spirit. I am not leaving the church if that is what you heard. I'm still going to be here, and I'm still going to be helping in whatever way possible I can for the church. But this year, I have been called back into an internet church. And no, I will not be recording in this church because it would confuse people. But I will be in my home on Sundays at 1 p.m. on TikTok. It's called A Church Without Walls. 2 people have come up to me and they have asked for this to be in return. My testimony was I stepped away from ministry for 7 years to get myself right and before I can help anyone. Now that sabbatical is over with, and with the help of Pastor Blair getting me back behind the pulpit and all that stuff, I want to first thank him for that, for being my mentor. But with a heavy heart on me, I say this because I want to be a part, or as to say, ordained in the UCC church. For I can take part of the things that go on in this church and UCC of the world. So I'm asking my church family here and online to pray for me, with me, and with Pastor Blair as we do this. As I'm doing the online thing, that is to show me that I can do it without someone over my shoulder. It is training me and rebuilding me, not removing me. So I'm saying this, I will be here doing the best that I've been doing, and I'll be online continuing to do the work that God wants me to do. If you understand that, I hope you do. I love you, and God go in peace and grace as I continue this year back on the road in ministry. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. With that, if there's nothing else we need to address, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and I will turn it over to Pastor Blair for a closing prayer. Don't forget to enjoy the roast beef dinner that's Alan and Corrine Chapman have had catered. So with that, I'll turn it over to Pastor Blair for closing prayer.
Our closing prayer will be grace for the dinner so that we don't need to pray once we get in there, okay? Almighty God, bless this time that we've had together. Bless the fellowship that we are about to share. Bless the hands that have made our meal. Bless the hands that are serving it. And bless each of us in the partaking of it. Amen.